Police will have to dig in hard if they have any hope of putting the town at ease. After scouring Herbert's office, detectives now believe the murder had something to do with a high-stakes Nigerian scam. The scam worked this way. Someone posing as a Nigerian government official contacted Daniel Herbert and offered him a share in a $25 million payday. But first, Herbert had to come up with a down payment. His Nigerian contact would use the money to pay fees and taxes that would free up the jackpot.
I think he fell for the scam. I think he legitimately believed that the people overseas were a legitimate money source for him and his business. Go to this one here.
Now people open their email and they see it and they laugh. But back in 2002, people took it a little bit more, well, what could this be?
Herbert wasn't the only one who fell prey to the lure of easy money. At the time of his death, he'd recruited 15 other investors who put up more than $1 million.
Now, when you look back at these things, I don't know that much about finance, but I wouldn't be giving this guy any money for anything that is unclear as this.
The investors kept sending money to Nigeria, but the payoff never materialized.
But the money was never really going anywhere toward releasing any of this $25 million. Mr. Herbert apparently thought it was. We believe that he thought that he was going to free up this money eventually.
It's amazing to me that how much money people will pour into this Nigerian scam. I mean, on the face of it, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't true.
Going to New Jersey here soon.
Did Herbert's role in this international swindle ultimately cost him his life?
And
Police question Herbert's wife. She tells them this scam was perfectly coordinated. The Nigerians had even lured Herbert overseas.
He traveled several times overseas in furtherance to obtain his money. At one point he went to Paris and I believe London. Another point to Benin also.
He actually went over there and met with purported officials of these governments.
Mrs. Herbert says her husband had bought into the con hook, line, and sinker. He believed he was meeting with legitimate government officials who wanted to help him land his $25 million payday.
He says, I met at certain hotels, and I met the prime minister of such and such, and I actually saw them. They showed me credentials. These are legitimate people. So that's one of the things he went over there for, to try to see if this is actually legitimate investments that he was making.
But these weren't government officials. They were con men. Investigators have to wonder if Herbert finally wised up and demanded his money back. If so, these scam artists might have graduated to murder. But how do you track down professional thieves more than 5,000 miles away? Detectives dig deeper into Herbert's files.
There are, and there were, paperwork, receipts, things like that, tickets, hotel reservations that show that he actually traveled outside the country to these locations.
They run down every lead, but it's all a mirage. The names are aliases. The phone numbers don't work. The addresses don't exist.
It's very hard to follow the trails, and
whoever scammed Daniel Herbert and his investors has crawled back into the shadows.
It's very frustrating.
Will justice ever come for this small-town businessman?